Well, I mean, the car means a lot to me. She's been stored inside for the last number of years. Haven't seen outside much. In July 7th of 1994, I bought the car. And in July 7th, 95, I was going to a friend's wedding and she asked me to drive the bridesmaids. So I used the car that day to drive the bridesmaids. Last alternator in the car. So we had to go by battery power only. We couldn't even turn on the air conditioning. All we could do was drive around with the windows down. And that was out in St. Brendan's. And one of the bridesmaids now, stuck into it. And now one of the bridesmaids now is my wife. So the car means a lot to me. It's something I'm always going to keep. Don't know if it's always going to work though, but I've managed to keep it anyway. My name is Dion Croke. I drive a 91 Beretta GTZ. Well, it came out and I think it was 1988, and it came with two motors. It came with a 2.4 and a 3.1. The 2.4 was a manual, and the 3.1 was automatic. When it came out, it was a kind of unowned. The only thing that was wrong that will resemble it at all would have been like a Z24. But there was also another Chev product, which was a Z34. So it was in between those two lines. Z34 had a bigger motor, and the Z24, same motor, but it was reduced by 20 horsepower. The car is automatic. You got a 3.1, a few mods done with it, chip and lower and upper intakes were done there. Exhaust on there, there was duals on it there instead of a single exhaust. Horsepower at the time was 155. I'd say it's probably up closer to 180 there right now. After doing a few mods over the years with the car, well, it's all in the first, I say 4 or 5 years. When you're younger, you're kind of into that kind of stuff. Like I upgraded some parts of the motor to make it faster, and performance chips, and strut mounts, but I also even removed the AC in her, so less weight, make her go faster. Why in the world would you do that? I put a lot of fiberglass in her. She's a fiberglass bonnet and fenders, rear wing. The ground effects on her is factory. The wheels have been changed. She originally had white wheels, which I still got, and I put these other ones on, figuring it was a thing to do back then. But a couple of the funniest things, and people get the biggest kick out of now, when you go up and open up the door and there's a built-in cell phone, comes out with a cord, and a flip-down TV at the ceiling. That's not something you would do anymore. But that was like, late 90s. I was doing a job years ago on Elizabeth Avenue, and we were at the gas station getting some gas. I looked across and I seen the Beretta. I said, I always wanted one. And I only had another new car at the time that was only a year and a half old. And I went over and I seen the car over at the car lot, and at the time, the owner of the car lot was using it as their personal vehicle. They had it bought off a lady from Nova Scotia. Anyway, with the jigs and reels, I talked to him, and he gave me good money on my car, and I traded in on it. Plus paid a bit extra, and I ended up with the car. And that was July 7th, 94. Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. My wife, she seen the car that day, and she said, "Oh, that's Dion." She said, "I think I might go out with Dion tonight." Yeah, obviously it was the car, not me. Yeah, she used to drive it for a number of years. So we've got a few more other things. Then we got kids come along, so I actually bought her a Pontiac GTP 40th anniversary back a number of years ago. And she used that for 2.5 years in summer. And when our twin kids come along, well, she decided to sell it and buy a minivan. So that took her out of the car situation then. I mean, well, I'd say the car is one of the best ones for driving in. Besides, like I said, I do have a General Lee there on an 09 Challenger. But besides that, some of the older stuff drives old. This here is old, but it drives more new than old. So it does have a decent feel when you get in it. Everybody like looks at it, it's like, I don't see one of those around, and you know it's old, but it's still got, you know, the proper brakes, the proper steering, suspension that feels good. Where some of the older stuff I got, you know, you got to really hold on to it and just remember what you're driving. Well, I always liked driving the car. I always felt really comfortable. I used to use the car in autocross years ago, and we used to race over to the Confederation building, and I used to come in third of all the cars. I used to beat the Mustangs, and so for a 3.1 I used to do pretty good back then. A lot of people didn't go with the Beretta because of the V6, whereas you know, you get a Camaro with a V8. So I mean, a lot of people didn't stick to the Beretta, and at that time I think you could buy, the Beretta was more expensive than the Camaro. If you wanted to buy a GTZ, the one with the full package like this one here, you had to pay a lot more. And so I mean, obviously people didn't want to, and there was a lot of forward thinking on the Berettas. They came up with stuff that was new to the market. Well, people was never big at the V6, but I know my buddy had a Camaro, he had a 305 and a 302 in it. And we're at the lights one day and we took off together. And I still stayed on side of his door, he still couldn't pull away from me. He just kept telling me, oh, the car wasn't running right that day. Years ago, boys would make fun of me because I built this garage behind me. And at the time I had 3-4 other sports cars. And it was the beginning of the winter, and we ended up having snow, and the only car that was put in the garage of the house was the Beretta, and the other I had a SRT10 Viper truck and it was a Charger, SRT8, and a Trans Am it was, and they were all left out in the snow while the Beretta was put inside. It was just for the memories, yeah. I knew the other ones I wouldn't be keeping. I knew that this one here was. Well, the reason why the car is running is because it's the car that I had when I met my wife, so that's one of the reasons. And I mean, I wouldn't want to sell it. And you know, I know one of these days there's going to have to be a big upgrade done on the car to combat everything that's going against her. Even though you can store them inside, rust do still get to them, unless I've seen some evidence there now. Well, I can't see the car ever leaving the family unless the kids gets rid of it. I'll always have it there. You know, I do take up a parking spot, but I'm okay with that. My name is Dion Croke. I'm proud to drive a '91 Beretta GTZ.